live on Facebook. And if you guys can see us, drop a 1 down in the comments, drop a yes, we see you. Just so I know, because sometimes Facebook takes a little while, and it's just always nice to know that I'm actually, there in the group, but it says we're live. So I am happy to be joined tonight by Whitney. And if you've been following me for a while, back in May, sort of to celebrate the crazy year we've all had, I did a scholarship giveaway and I had a lot of amazing applicants and gave a small handful, like a partial scholarship, and they did great. And Whitney, I gave her a full scholarship to my 90-day body lift coaching, which is basically designed just to help you, drop fat, get toned, feel more amazing in your body, and have those skills and habits to help you for life. So Whitney, congrats.
Thank you.
And thanks so much for joining me. Why don't we start with just like who you are?
Yeah.
What your goals are, what your goals were before we got started, maybe where you were at before we started.
Absolutely. So my name is Whitney Evans Houston, and I am a director for a nonprofit. I also have 2 3-year-old boys. And just a little bit about me, I am a 2-time cancer survivor. And my second bout with cancer, I went through chemotherapy, which there's the stereotype that chemotherapy, you're going to be like super frail and thin and lose all this weight. And that's not what happened to me. I had to take steroids and ended up gaining 40 pounds on chemo, which was not, at the time, not my biggest priority, but
yeah,
it stuck around for a while. And then as life moves forward, my mom passed away. When my mom passed away, I really fell into a hard place where I just wasn't eating at all. And I lost all that weight super fast, really, really unhealthy, just not a good way to lose the amount of weight that I lost. And then quarantine happened, and slowly but surely, between sitting in this chair and sitting on the sofa and ordering takeout, the weight just came back again. And when this opportunity came up, I was just in a space where I felt like I didn't have control over my body or my weight. It wasn't me who was determining how my body felt. And so I felt kind of detached from it. And I just knew when I saw this and I saw what you were doing, I just felt like some structure and a program and a system that I don't have to put together or think about. Like I can just let somebody else do the thinking and I can just do the physical part, was just what I needed.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And if you guys are watching the live or the replay, and you can relate to that, you could hit that thumbs up button or just be like, I can relate. Because one, you have a unique story that I don't think a lot of people can, but I think a lot of people can relate to feeling like it's not in their control. Like they've lost being in the captain of their own ship, so to speak, and they're just sort of riding the waves.
And I was having a really hard time, like figuring out what foods and what movements and what activities made me feel good. Like I just was having a hard time. Like, do I feel good if I have yogurt and a banana? I don't know. Do I feel good if I have grilled cheese? I don't know. Like I just, it just was hard. I just had a hard time.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So then we started working together, and what were some like initial wins that you had?
Just movement was incredibly helpful. Just getting some movement into my day. And what it did was it made me want to move more. Like it felt so good to move my body that I wanted to move my body more. So that was incredible and super helpful, to just sort of be in a routine and in a system where I move my body every day. Even if I don't work out, I still move my body every single day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then the food. So when it comes to food, I'm still on maintenance treatment for cancer. So I have some side effects. I get nauseous. You don't need to hear all that, but basically nausea being the big one. And so I have always had a really hard time eating in the morning because I'm nauseated, and then I'm nauseated because I didn't eat. So it's this weird mix of having a hard time eating in the morning. And I just have, through this process, I have found a meal that works for me in the morning, and that I can get protein, I can get some fruit, I can get some good stuff in the morning, and then it just sets me up for the whole day, which has been incredibly helpful.
Yeah, that's so important and so awesome, just to be feeling better, like those little things. So hard. So what, I feel like you shared a lot of the best skills, what has been your results? Like, where are you at today? You're like, scale, inches, non-scale victories.
I think I've lost 13 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Which is incredible. And I'm super, my clothes fit better. My pants fit better. I just feel better in my clothing, which is amazing. And I just notice I look better in pictures. I running up 4 flights of stairs is not hard. I just feel better in my body. I just feel better, and I'm sleeping better. It's just, my body just feels better.
Do you feel like you now have like direction and control over?
And one of the biggest things I think I've learned through this is that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. That, if you don't have time for a 30-minute or an hour-long workout, and you can get in 7 minutes of squats and push-ups and whatever else, do it. Do the 7 minutes. If that's all you have time for, do it. And same with food. You had, a pile of cheese for lunch. That doesn't mean that that's what you have to have for dinner. You can have something, you can make a better choice. And just because you don't have to destroy the whole day, because that was sort of my MO too, is like, if I had a donut for breakfast, I'm probably having, Taco Bell for lunch, and then having takeout. That's just what, the day's already ruined. Yeah. So I'm, whatever. And I just have, it's just a different mentality that it's not all or nothing, that the little bits really count and really matter.
Yeah. The tiny things are so important. And especially when we get busy, right? And we just we can tell ourselves stories too, that we can't do anything. And when in fact we can do something, like we always can do.
And I think that for me, having a couple of 3-year-olds, there's always an excuse that I don't have time. That's always going to be an excuse that I don't have time. And one of the things that I feel like it's incredibly important to not only show them and teach them that exercise and moving your body is important, but that Mama needs some time to herself. I need some time to take care of myself and do things that I enjoy and do things that make me feel good. And they don't have to do with you all the time. But I think that's an important lesson to teach kids, that Mama's a human being too, and needs to take time for herself.
Yeah, I think and the more you start it, like the more they accept it and are like, oh, this is her time. Like, it's definitely so important. And then they're more likely to take care of themselves too, and see as they get older, like, I need to do stuff like this and take care of myself. Right. Before you started, was there anything you felt nervous or worried about?
I mean, I was nervous to get back into the physical movement. I've always been an athlete. Before I got cancer, I was an athlete. I was strong. I exercised. And when I got sick, I just lost a lot of that for lots of different reasons. And so to start that back up again felt like a really tall hill to climb, to get back into a routine, because it's been so long since I've had a routine. So I was nervous about that. I was nervous about like cooking better meals that maybe my husband was going to be like, what is this? And he's not at all. Like, he's totally fine with it and totally happy with whatever, he's just happy he got cooked for. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely was nervous. I definitely was worried about it. I wanted to be successful for me, but also because you gave me this amazing gift, and oh my gosh, I want to be successful.
That's so good. I know. And I just, from knowing everything you've overcome and everything, I just was so confident that you would show up, because you have to be willing to show up. And whether it's, one day where you do everything, or having an off day and then the next day being like, but that's okay. Like, being able to let that go and move on to the next day is just so amazing. And you did that
I think
throughout.
what's helped me a lot is to think in terms of weeks instead of days. So how did I do this week versus how did I do this day? Because every day there's going to be something I missed. There's going to be something that, but if you look at the entire week, you see a lot of successes, and the whoopsies don't feel as big when you're looking at an entire week.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. What do you feel like this has changed the most in your life now?
I mean, getting an hour away from my kids every day, it's pretty amazing. But besides that, gosh, it's just bringing health and wellness back into my life, and just understanding that when mama feels good, everybody's going to be doing better. And I think that a lot of parents, a lot of moms, fill their cup last. And when you do that, you can't take care of other people if you're not taking care of yourself. And I just have realized, just like my ability to play with my kids is, I'm just so much stronger. I could put them both on my back at the same time now and carry them
Wow.
around if I wanted to. and I just, like I'm a more fun mom because I, am just more active and energetic and just better. I just feel better.
Yeah. If you guys can relate, or if that sounds good, like hit that heart button if you're watching live or on the replay. If you're someone listening and maybe you can relate to where Whitney has been, and what she's talking about sounds like what you want in your life. Like you just want to feel better, healthier, stronger, being that more fun mom where you feel like you can, get down on the floor, get up off the floor, occasionally play games with them at the park, although sometimes we all need, even if we're strong, we need a break sometimes too. But if that's you and you've been struggling going it alone and you maybe need someone to help steer you in the right direction, my 90-day body lift coaching is designed to do that. It's designed to help you not just get your results, but really embody and learn how to take care of it yourself. So you have the tools, you have the strategies, you have the nutrition plan, you have the workouts, and then just the mindset part, which we so often miss when we're going on like a traditional fad diet. We think it's all just what we eat, and it's so much more. If that sounds like you, just drop me down in the comments and I'll just reach out to see where you're at and what might help move you forward, what strategies I can relate from clients in the past that have really worked for them that might help you. And then if it makes sense, what my coaching might look like for you. And then Whitney, what would you, if there's someone out there sitting on the fence struggling, like, I don't know if I need a coach, I don't know if this is for me, like what would you tell someone, or what would your recommendation be to someone trying to decide if they wanted to work with a fitness coach, whether it's me or someone else?
You'll thank yourself in 90 days. You will. The amount different I feel in such a short period of time is really incredible. And it's just motivated me to keep going. And for me, having that accountability partner, that's somebody who's checking in and helping me make healthy decisions and laying it all out there for you, making it really, really simple to make good decisions, was just unbelievably helpful.
Yeah, I'm so glad. And I'm so excited that you're, continuing on after the 90 days, workouts and some of the mastery program and all of that. I'm super excited to see your continued success. My goal, Whitney, no pressure, Whitney, but my goal is next Mother's Day, if I do another scholarship, to interview you again.
Perfect. I'll be ready.
So keep making progress. No pressure. I mean, do it for yourself, not the.
Absolutely. For both. It's for both.
It's for both. Anyway, that is all. If you guys are watching, Whitney, what would you say? Let's give them like a strategy or something you learned and picked up. I know you sort of were sharing some throughout too, but what would you say would be something, a helpful strategy you put into place over the last 90 days that someone watching maybe could start doing tomorrow that would help move them in the right direction?
Protein in the morning. Having some kind of protein in the morning has made such a huge difference in my nausea and how I feel, and just having energy. It just starts the day off. Protein and usually I have a piece of fruit too. Has been tremendous. And that if you if you don't have an hour, if you don't have half an hour, do you have 10 minutes 3 times a day? Because that'll work too. Just figure it out, however it's going to work for you.
Yeah, 100%. When my kids were little, I know I've said this before, but honestly, when they were both like three and almost one, I would work out like 5 times a day, probably for like 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, 7 minutes here, because I got interrupted a lot. But it worked out. Like, I'm so glad I stayed the course and I didn't just say I can't do anything.
Right.
So that is a great tip, and protein is so important. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and I will talk to you later. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you watching. If you hit that thumbs up button, hit that heart button, it just shows Facebook that this was valuable and other members of the group can see it too. And then, of course, if you have any friends who, oftentimes birds of a feather flock together. So if there's anyone you know who might need some support and some strategies, feel free to invite them to this group with all the strategies that are here. That's it. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.